To our main story this lunchtime, parliamentarians scheduled to vote in just under 60 minutes, possibly in fact in a debate that will look at the Section 89 independent panel report that looked into whether President Ramaphosa could face possible impeachment as a result of his action on or inaction in relation to the theft of at least 500,000 rands or 580,000 rands worth of foreign currency. That's dollars terms, by the way, not rands. Yesterday, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, declined a second request from the ATM for a secret ballot. Let's take you to our reporters in Cape Town. We've got two of them out and about. Erin is watching a demonstration led by the recently expelled ANC member Carl Niehaus. We've got Athi Mtongana, who's also monitoring what's happening around Parliament, Athi, and you've got with you the spokesperson for Parliament.
Yes, that's correct, Timigile, and I'm going to jump straight into conversation with Moloto Motapa. Thank you so much for your time. This afternoon, it's going to be a numbers game. Talk to us about how much would be required to actually get to a decision in the House pertaining this matter. Will a two-thirds majority count, or will a one-third then matter in this particular session?
Yeah, well, the decisions on the report that are being considered by the House ordinarily are decided or taken based on simple majority. So all that you need in the House is for the House to correct, meaning that it requires one-third of the members of Parliament to be present in the House, and the majority of that must vote in favor of a motion in order for it to pass.
Talk to us then about the way in which the MPs are going to be voting. We know that there have been requests to the Speaker of the National Assembly on how to vote. We spoke to the ATM. They're not happy about the Speaker declining their second request to the secret ballot. And of course, Mervyn Dirks from the ANC, we know he's also another one that's breaking ranks, wanting to do something contrary to the caucus.
Yeah, well, the Speaker received quite a number of letters from about 5 or 6 political parties in Parliament, including the African National Congress. The rest of the opposition parties were asking her to review the decision that she has taken on the 5th of December, not to allow a secret ballot. And the ANC, of course, also asked her to maintain that decision that she has taken. This matter is very important. It has got huge public interest in it. Members of Parliament themselves are not representing their own personal jackets. They are representing the members of the public that voted for them to the National Assembly. And therefore, the Speaker is of a view that the constitutional principles, the founding constitutional principles that governs the business of Parliament, of openness and transparency, must be guarded and protected at all times, because that's one of the key areas of difference between a democratic parliament and apartheid parliament. Apartheid parliament used to conduct its business in the cloud of secrecy, and the public will never get to know how decisions are made. It is different with a democratic parliament. Members of the public who elected these MPs to the House must be able to have an insight as to how they arrived at certain decisions. Because one of the issues that the Speaker is raising is that a cloud of secrecy in decision-making processes will give rise to bribery and undue influence against members of Parliament. So the transparency and the openness of the institution and how it conducts its business must be defended at all times. And as the Constitutional Court said in its guidelines in a matter between the National Assembly Speaker and the UDM, is that members also must be prepared to follow their and have the courage of their conviction, and they must exercise such courage publicly, because that's what makes them heroes in terms of how they stand. So It will be open ballot, and the manner in which it will pan out is that it will be a roll call, voice voting procedure, which means that the Speaker will call members of Parliament according to the political parties that they belong to, starting with the largest, which is the majority party, the African National Congress, and up to the smallest, which is Al-Jama. So once a particular political party is being called, the members of that party must be, will be called in alphabetical order to voice whether they are voting for, against, or they are abstaining.
All right, thank you so much for that explanation. Well, that puts it quite clearly about how things will pan out in the sitting this afternoon. Back to you in studio.
Athi Mtongana speaking to the spokesperson for Parliament, Mtongana. Let's go now to another of our reporters in Cape Town, Erin, who's watching a demonstration by an anti-Ramaphosa group in ANC gear, no less. Erin, what are their demands?
Well, Tembekile, in fact, this is a pro-Ramaphosa contingent here, just some 500 meters from the City Hall where we saw Athi moments ago. I'm going to step out of shot, gathering really of branch members of the Western Cape, largely Women's League supporters. They do have a petition they handed over to a representative of the presidency a few moments ago. Their message, Tembekile, very clear. Hands off President Ramaphosa. Also posters here saying, "We trust Ramaphosa," and in fact the message from the Western Cape has been consistent on this score. They've said here today that they also expect a second term to happen for President Cyril Ramaphosa come Friday. Now, I've got two speakers who are representatives for the Dullah Omar region. Thank you so much for your time. Please do introduce yourselves and share some of your thoughts on the Phala discussion happening at 2 o'clock.
Good afternoon, viewers. I'm Cindy Swamasumba. I'm a regional coordinator of the Dullah Omar region of the ANC Women's League. We have organized the women. They are out here in support of the president to do his duty as a president, and also they are geared that the president must be voted for the second term because he's steering the ship to the right direction. He does not forget that women are in charge of the branches. He takes the mandates from the women that the women development is very key, and the children of South Africa in particular. We are here to say hands off from President Ramaphosa.
Thank you. Ma'am, you as well, please introduce yourself and why you think what you do about the votes come 2 o'clock today.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to the viewers and thank you to South Africa. My name is Mtongana. I am the leader of the Dullah Omar region, the official on the fundraising part. We are here today in support of the president against the impeachment because we feel that as women, this is still prematurely for the impeachment process to take place in Parliament because no evidence yet that has been found and proven against the president. So we as women, we are saying that the principle of the ANC for having the president continue with his second term must apply to President Ramaphosa like he did with his predecessors. President Ramaphosa is not leading the organization. He's also leading the country as a whole. The economy of the country depends on him. He is the face of this country. We feel that he has done lots of strides against the COVID, against the insurrections that were happening, against the floods. Ramaphosa has been standing still and being the leader, and he has shown his resilience throughout all. We are saying that hands off the president of the country, hands off. The opposition must think otherwise, and the ANC must support its president. Amanda!
Thank you. Tembekile, we're going to round up here as the continuous support swells. ahead of that discussion at 2 o'clock, just meters away in the City Hall.
Bates, thank you very much. In fact, before we move on from there, I'd asked Erin about the Anti-Ramaphosa demonstration because earlier she was following the movements of a group led by Carl Niehaus not too far from the city centre. Their demand is for Ramaphosa to step down, but as you can see, even ANC supporters, these are Women's League members, I believe, also in the Western Cape, they've now come out with a different agenda saying he should stay. We'll bring you more of those reflections later today.